The top stories tonight in Y News. The World Health Organization appealed to countries not to pause vaccination campaigns after major European countries have suspended the use of AstraZeneca vaccines over safety issue.
Metro Manila mayors would again ban minors from going out of their homes for 2 weeks.
The Supreme Court has dismissed the petitions against President Rodrigo Duterte's decision to pull out from the International Court.
And the people of Palawan has rejected the proposed division of Palawan into 3 provinces. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, March 16, 2021. I am Harleen Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news. The World Health Organization and the European Medicines Agency assure the use of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine is safe as several major EU countries halted the British-Swedish jab on Monday over blood clot fears. Marvi Delfin will give us the details live. Yes, Marvi.
Harleen, the World Health Organization aims to restore public confidence as its chief scientist stands by its current recommendation that people should continue to be immunized with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine because there has been no evidence of a biologically plausible relationship between the thromboembolic events reported in some countries and COVID-19 shots. Dr. Sumia Swaminathan noted that the rate at which blood clots have occurred in people who received the AstraZeneca vaccine are in fact less than what would be expected in the general population. Furthermore, the WHO has appealed to countries not to suspend vaccinations against a disease that has caused more than 2.7 million deaths worldwide. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said systems were in place to protect public health, while the European Medicines Agency or EMA said that the benefits of the AstraZeneca vaccine in preventing COVID-19 with its associated risk of hospitalization and death outweigh the risk of side effects. As of March 10, a total of 37 cases of blood clotting had been reported among close to 5 million people vaccinated with the AstraZeneca shot in 30 European countries. Overnight, Spain, Germany, France, Italy, and Portugal have become the latest nations to press pause on the jab, joining the growing list of countries to do so. However, health ministries across the globe acknowledge that the shot is not to blame and are only taking precautionary measures as per advice of their national vaccine regulators, while investigations into the cases are in progress. The vaccine pause by some of Europe's largest and most populous countries has deepened concerns about the slow rollout of vaccines in the region, which has been plagued by shortages due to problems producing vaccines, including AstraZeneca's. Meanwhile, the United Nations Health Agency says its global rollout of COVID-19 vaccine remains unaffected despite suspensions. The WHO says the AstraZeneca vaccine for the COVAX program, which is shipping vaccines to 92 low and middle income countries, are being produced in India and South Korea, and the suspensions have been ordered over batches made in Europe. Harleen?
All right, Marvi, thank you for that live report. The Philippines has secured a supply deal for 30 million doses of vaccines with U.S. drug maker Novavax. The agreement was signed during the meeting of Vaccine Czar and National Task Force against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Secretary Carlito Galvez with the representatives of Serum Institute of India last week. The 30 million doses are expected to arrive in the country in the third or fourth quarter of the year. Novavax is based in the U.S., but its Covavax vaccines are manufactured in India.
Meanwhile, medical professionals believe that the vulnerable sector, like the senior citizens and pregnant mothers, can still receive a COVID-19 vaccine, but with restrictions. Meanwhile, an infectious disease expert says healthcare workers who are exposed to COVID-19 and have just received their jabs can still be infected with the virus. Aiko Miguel explains why.
There are about 9 million senior citizens in the Philippines, according to Dr. Shelly De La Vega, director of the Institute of Aging National Institutes of Health. Also, based on the data they have received, 81.15% of those who had severe COVID-19 infections and succumbed to the disease are aged 65 years old and above. This is why, according to Dr. De La Vega, they belong to the prioritized population to be inoculated with COVID-19 vaccine. The doctor said it is important that seniors be given defense against COVID-19, especially those who have hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, and those who are undergoing dialysis. But the health expert clarified that those who are in severe condition like HIV, cancer, and those who are in vegetative state need clearance first before allowing inoculation.
If you are a senior citizen who is bedridden, okay, in a vegetative state, yung nakauma na or end stage na Alzheimer's disease, no, they can be in a vegetative state. Or because of severe disease like cancer, 6 months na lang ang kanyang projected life expectancy. Magpa-check up sa doktor. Check upin siya ng doktor niya at mag-usap sila ng pamilya para madesisyonan kung papayag pa ba silang magpabakuna.
Meanwhile, according to the Philippine Infectious Disease Society for Obstetrics and Gynecology, pregnant women and breastfeeding women can also be inoculated, especially if they are frontliners. Dr. Bravo says COVID-19 vaccine can just be given to pregnant women who are on their second and third trimester.
Para lang po maiwasan yung blame if ever, kunyari po may something abnormal na nangyari sa baby or sa pregnancy, para po maiwasan yung blame muna na ay kasi napakunahan niya ng ganyang bakuna eh.
But the expert emphasized the decision lies on a pregnant individual and breastfeeding mothers, whether they'll be inoculated. Also, studies are ongoing on the COVID-19 vaccination for expectant and breastfeeding mothers. Meanwhile, according to Dr. Ron Jean Solante, an infectious disease expert, a healthcare worker can still get sick because of COVID-19 even after receiving first dose. Dr. Solante says this is possible if a healthcare worker is exposed to COVID-19 positive before getting inoculated.
No way it can cause that infection. It seems that infection was already there prior to vaccination, and then after nang bakunahan siya, lumabas yung mga sintomas. So we need to clear that because you were exposed and you had that symptoms, primarily not because of the vaccine. So don't say about na galing sa bakuna yan kasi baka naman magkakalat tayo ng mga misinformation at hindi na pababakuna itong mga healthcare workers.
Experts assure that safety, efficacy, and contraindication of all COVID-19 vaccines have been evaluated before being inoculated to Filipinos. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, more than 1,000 individuals were caught violating the metro-wide curfew on the first night of its implementation. The Manila City logged the highest number of arrested curfew violators. Leah Ilagan reports.
1,449 violators were arrested on the first day of the re-implementation of curfew hours of 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the National Capital Region. Philippine National Police spokesperson, Police Brigadier General Ildebrandi Osana says the Manila Police District posted the highest number of arrested curfew violators with 1,139, while 310 were arrested in Southern Police District. Meanwhile, 1,588 curfew violators were meted with fines, but they have the option to render community service. On the other hand, 547 curfew violators were initially issued warnings and were subsequently released.
Ang kalahatan, naging successful naman po yung unang gabi yun, no? According to our datos, meron po tayong 8,341 police personnel na deploy at ito'y nagresulta po sa apprehension ng 1,449 curfew violators.
The PNP reiterates its call for the public's cooperation on the observance of the minimum health safety standard protocols.
Pagkamat kami po ay nag-enforce ng minimum health protocols, ang disiplina po ng ating mga men ang kakailanganin. Hindi po ibig sabihin kayo po ay nagsusuot ng inyo pong face mask o face shield. Baka naman yung face shield ninyo nasa itaas ng ulo ninyo o yung face mask nandun naman po sa baba. Kailangan po proper wearing nito pong face mask at face shield dahil ito po ang magsasalpa sa inyo.
Osana also urged the public to prevent unnecessary provocation and respect the authorities.
Tunawain nyo na lang po ang ating mga kapulisan, ginagawa lang po nila ang kanilang katungkulan upang mapabuti ang sitwasyon ng ating mga mamayan laban sa coronavirus.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A group of health workers is advising the public to avoid mass gatherings for the long holiday. Joanano tells us why.
To avoid further transmission amid the rising cases of COVID-19 in the country, the Healthcare Professional Alliance Against COVID-19 or HPAC is urging the public to avoid mass gatherings and strictly comply with the minimum health protocols as many people are planning to go on vacation for the long holiday. The medical doctors emphasize that they are not prohibiting people to spend their vacation on beach resorts. However, they have to avoid mass gatherings, and as long as they will strictly comply with the minimum health protocols in order to prevent COVID-19 transmission. HPAC is advocating their so-called apat dapat, which includes the assurance of a proper ventilation or air circulation, the practice of physical distancing, regular use of face mask and face shield, and limiting time of interactions to less than 30 minutes.
You will need to be very careful about the place you go kasi a beach is open space, and as we said, we encourage that open space. Wag isara yun because these are safe places to go. But you need to be on the alert. Kasi when these open spaces fill up, no? Edi ano na rin yan, parang nagiging enclosed place na rin. No? As long as regulated yung number of people going to those resorts, then we should be okay.
When we travel to the resort, isipin po natin, how do we get there? Do we take a public transportation? Do we travel together? Sino-sino po yung mga kasama natin? Ano po yung mga health status nila? At pagdating po natin sa resort, we will be interacting with locals, etc. Are we going to be interacting with them? So we have to plan all of those things before we decide to go on that trip.
But for some doctors, it is still best for the people to stay at home rather than spending their vacation somewhere else.
Yung mahal na nung araw, bawal talagang umalis ng bahay. Walang tao sa daan kung may mahal na araw. Kaya dapat siguro ibalik natin ngayon yon dahil mag-quarantine lahat at mag-stay lang muna sa bahay.
Despite the recent surge of COVID-19 cases in the country, HPAC members are yet to call for a timeout as well as recommending to place the country under the strictest quarantine status as the doctors believe that we can still do something to mitigate the rising cases of COVID-19. Apart from liquor ban and curfew hours, HPAC is also urging the business leaders and local government units to intensify their staggered work hours, allowing more work from home scheme, and to address proper ventilation on their workplaces. They are also encouraging the LGUs to come up with an interconnected contact tracing as well as establishing businesses on open spaces and to temporarily prohibit dining in enclosed restaurants.
Lockdown is still an option kung umabot tayo sa punto that the healthcare system is really overwhelmed beyond its capacity to effectively address the COVID-19 cases. But at this point, we feel na meron pa tayong pwedeng magawa to mitigate the surge.
HPAC will again submit the list of the recommendation to President Rodrigo Duterte on how the country can manage the increasing number of COVID-19 cases. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Contact tracing star Mayor Benjamin Magalong identifies the lack of contact tracers and encoders as the cause of ineffective contact tracing in the country. Marvin Galas explains why.
Contact tracing czar Mayor Benjamin Magalong admitted that there had been lapses on the country's contact tracing effort. Being understaffed and unrelayed information to the authority are eyed as some of the main causes.
May mga several reasons kung bakit mababa. Unang-una, walang proper na cascading na ituro mo doon sa mga trainers at the provincial level at the same time sa regional level pero hindi na-cascade sa munisipyo. Second is kulang yung ating mga encoders. Nagulat kami na pag dina-download namin yung mga line list, may mga index cases tayo na bakit wala itong mga contact tracing? Bakit 000? Only to find out pala na hindi na-encode.
These calls for the importance of increasing the number of contact tracers, especially with the rising cases of COVID-19 in the country. Government agencies are now trying to fill these lapses along with the local government units. Contact tracing procedures should also be updated for a faster identity of COVID-19 positive contacts in aid of further transmission.
We are working with WHO para may sama na uli doon sa isang contact tracing manual natin yung how to conduct yung second to third generation na contact tracing.
Mayor Magalong reiterated that PNP personnel has the capacity to conduct contact tracing due to their work specialization on cognitive investigation that is vital in the country's contact tracing effort. Unfortunately, these are not undertaken because of lack of supervision and support from the local chief executives. It can also be recalled that the DILG requested for an additional funding last week for the rehiring of 15,000 contact tracers in the country. Marvin Calas, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
For those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The Metro Manila Council, through the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, is once again banning minors from going outdoors starting Wednesday, March 17. The MMDA is now drafting a resolution prohibiting minors, particularly aged 15 to 17, to go outdoors for a period of 2 weeks. Only individuals aged 18 to 65 years of age will be allowed to go outside their residences amid the alarming number of COVID-19 cases in Metro Manila. This will be implemented in all the 17 local government units comprising the National Capital Region. According to MMDA Chairman Benhur Abalos, the move has been agreed upon by the Metro Manila mayors in a bid to contain the transmission of the virus in the metropolis. Meanwhile, various health groups are urging the national government to boost its healthcare system, especially for its coronavirus disease response. Janine Inhente reports why.
Coalition for People's Right to Health, or CPRH, co-convener Dr. Joshua San Pedro said the country should not only rely on vaccines as a way to fight the virus. The group has also called on the national government to provide assistance to far-flung areas that have limited access to health services.
States are making a mistake kung vaccination lang ang kanyang aasahan. So talagang kailangan na mas mapalakas pa rin yung public health measures and ensuring na umaabot sa komunidad yung usaping pangkalusugan at serbisyong pangkalusugan.
Mass testing, San Pedro added, is the key in preventing the spread of COVID-19. He also lamented that the national government imposed travel restrictions a bit late. Meanwhile, Filipino Nurses United has also called on the government to hire more nurses as several COVID-19 hospitals are at their full capacity, which increases the workload of nurses.
We have received reports from our members na one nurse cares for at least 12 patients now na positive sa COVID. Ideally, sana one nurse will care for at least 3 patients sa COVID ward and 1:1, 1 nurse to 1 patient sa mga critical and severe cases ng COVID.
Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Malacanang says President Rodrigo Duterte is not downplaying the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic to the Filipinos. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Critics are quick to hit President Rodrigo Duterte's latest remarks last night for seemingly undermining the challenges posed by the health crisis. The chief executive in a pre-recorded message told the public not to despair and the Philippines can beat COVID-19 amid the resurgence.
Do not despair. Kaya natin ito, COVID na ito. Maliit na bagay ito sa buhay natin. Marami tayong dinaanan mas grabe, mas mahirap, mas namuduluha ngayon. Saka, I know, lahat kayo, lalo na mga kababayan ko nandyan sa Subatas area, lahat kayo, huwag kayong matakot at hindi ko kayo iwanan.
But according to the palace, President Duterte was expressing confidence that Filipinos can rise from the challenge of COVID-19.
Ang sinasabi ng mga presidente, temporary lang po yan. Hindi po yan forever. Lilipas din po yan at pagdating po ng bakuna, magkakaroon na tayo ng solusyon sa ating problema, magkakaroon tayo ng new normal. So hindi po minamaliit ng presidente ang ating paghihirap, pero ang sinasabi po niya, babangon naman po tayo dyan, we will heal as one.
Meanwhile, Malacanang says the Philippines is not back to square one amid the significant surge of COVID-19 cases. According to presidential spokesperson Roque, the government has done a lot to address the pandemic. This includes the expansion of our healthcare capacity.
We're not back to square one kasi po we have better facilities, we have more critical bed capacity, we have more ward bed capacities, we have prepared the healthcare capacity para nga po gamutin yung mas maraming mga magkakasakit.
This is in response to the proposal of Senator Amy Marcos to overhaul the Interagency Task Force against COVID-19. She also has questioned what the IATF has accomplished 1 year after the community quarantine was declared. Rosalie Cos, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Some hospitals in Metro Manila find ways to increase their bed allocation for COVID-19 patients. Let's find out why from Asher Kadapan Jr. live. Asher.
The occupancy rate in hospitals, particularly those in Metro Manila, continue to rise as COVID-19 cases increase this month. Some even have already reached its critical level, which equates to more than 70% of their bed allocation for COVID-19 patients. One of them is Philippine General Hospital, where its occupancy rate is already at 80%, while its intensive care unit is already full. Local government hospitals in the city of Manila also face the same challenge, especially Hospital ng Sampaloc, which was already at 93% occupancy, and Hospital ng Tondo at 73% as of March 12. Makati City Mayor Binay, on the other hand, also confirmed that their hospital beds for COVID-19 patients are now fully occupied. Meanwhile, the East Avenue Medical Center is at its red zone for their bed allocation for severe and critical COVID-19 patients with 95% occupancy. Despite the insurgents, Medical Center Chief Dr. Alfonso Nunez assures that they are working on increasing their bed capacity ahead of the situation.
Meron kaming mga step-up plans kung tawagin namin. Pero ito mga step-up plans, these are really designed to be one step ahead of the present situation and any situation that will come. Pero syempre, may mga limitations ito. May mga limitations dahil sa resources, may mga limitations sa manpower.
Dr. Jose N. Rodriguez Memorial Hospital, previously referred to as Tala Hospital in Caloocan City, no longer admits non-COVID-19 patients. Its hospital head, Dr. Alfonso Pamaran, explains that this will allow more bed allocations for COVID-19 patients, as the hospital has been designated as a COVID-19 referral center since it started its operation last year. Dr. Pamaran added that most of their COVID-19 patients have contracted the disease due to non-adherence to the minimum health and safety protocols.
Nalaman namin na nag-a-attend dito ng mga family reunions, parties, pupunta sa mga marketplaces na masisikip. Ito yung number 1. Ang number 2 naman, inamin din nila na meron silang face shield, face mask, pero hindi siya properly na naisusuot.
Doctors appeal to the public to stringently follow the health standards as the primary defense in battling the disease. Tiago?
Thank you, Asher Cadapan Jr., for those updates.
Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno Domagoso has placed 6 barangays under lockdown to contain the spread of COVID-19 infection. JP Nunez reports.
Residents in 6 barangays in Manila stocked up their essentials like food and other supplies for the implementation of hard lockdown. The 4-day lockdown starts 12:01 tonight until 11:59 p.m. Saturday, March 20. The 6 barangays includes Barangay 185 in Gagalangin, Tondo, Barangay 374 in Santa Cruz, Barangay 521 in Sampaloc, Barangay 628 in Santa Mesa, Barangay 675 in Paco, and Barangay 847 in Pandacan. Residents of this barangay shall be strictly confined to their residences and are prohibited from going outside their homes. 12 police officers will man the barangays.
Ang pinaka-base namin sa barangay hall namin, meron kaming doon, maglalagay sila ng lamesa doon para sa investigador. Lahat ng mahuhuli, doon ilalagay. Lahat yon iimbestigahan. Doon kukunan sila ng litrato, pipirma sila. Tapos sila yung magbabantay sa gate. Ihahati nila yung 6 sa gate, yung 6 magra-rounds.
Some residents complained that the lockdown will affect their livelihood, but they have no choice but to follow.
Hindi, para sa aming mga naghahanap buhay. Kasi lahat ng mga tao dito may hanap buhay. Lalo yung anak ko, naghahanap buhay din. Hindi nga pwedeng maglabas-pasok yung anak ko kasi bawal.
Mahirap kung sa mahirap. Kaso kahit pa paano, may naitabi naman ako pang survive ng 4 na araw. Katulad kami, mga anak din ako para hindi rin magkasakit yung mga anak ko.
The city government has distributed 7,895 food boxes that contains rice and canned goods to affected residents. The lockdown will be used by the City Health Department for a massive contact tracing and testing. If there will be a rise of COVID cases in Manila, the city will still implement more granular lockdowns to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The total number of COVID-19 cases in the country rose to 631,320 today, after the Department of Health recorded 4,437 new cases. The DOH also reported 166 new recoveries and 11 new deaths. This means there are now a total of 560,736 recoveries and 12,848 fatalities. The DOH said there remain 57,736 active COVID-19 cases in the country. Of the active cases, 92.6% are mild cases, 4.0% are asymptomatic cases, 1.3% critical cases, 1.3% are severe cases, and 0.68% are moderate cases.
The Supreme Court has unanimously junked the petitions against President Duterte's decision to withdraw from the International Criminal Court or ICC. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Supreme Court has announced today its decision to dismiss the petitions questioning the Philippines' withdrawal from the International Criminal Court or ICC. March 2018, when President Rodrigo Duterte announced the withdrawal after the ICC said it will conduct a preliminary investigation on the government's war on drugs. The High Court said the issue of the country's withdrawal from the ICC has been considered moot as the withdrawal has already taken effect on March 17, 2019. The High Court said the decision acknowledged that the President, as the primary architect of the foreign policy, is subject to the Constitution and existing statute. The Supreme Court added it has enough powers to protect human rights, contrary to speculations made by the petitioners. Opposition senators Francis Pangilinan, Franklin Drilon, Risa Ontiveros filed against the President's decision to withdraw from the ICC, stating the decision still requires concurrence from 2/3 of the members of the Senate. Meanwhile, in a statement, Senator Risa Ontiveros said she is saddened with the court's decision, but reminded the President that the ICC withdrawal cannot evade the country from investigation. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Palawan residents have rejected the proposed division of Palawan into 3 provinces. The Palawan Board of Canvassers says as of 5 p.m., March 16, there were 172,304 no votes or votes against dividing the province, while 122,223 voted yes in favor of the move. Only the municipality of Kalayaan was unaccounted for. However, a motion to terminate canvass was made by the oppositor in view of the insurmountability of the lead enjoyed by the no votes. Out of 490,254 registered voters, only 297,728 voted during the plebiscite on March 13, equivalent to a 60% voter turnout.
Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin hailed the move of Senator Risa Ontiveros to conduct an inquiry on the reported trafficking of Filipino women to Syria. In a tweet, the secretary says they cannot afford to relax or let any abuse pass, noting that it is too much trouble to fix. According to Teodoro, he will direct the charge d'affaires in Damascus to participate in the Senate hearing. Earlier today, Ontiveros bared the 3 Filipino women who were trafficked to Syria sought help from her office. One of them is Alice, not her real name, who revealed how her agent paid 50,000 pesos to immigration officers to facilitate her seamless exit from the country.
Sa immigration, may binabayaran si Ana Luta doon, ang mga tao doon. Isa sa sasalubong sa'yo sa gate, iba pa yung nasa may counter na number 1. Marami akong beses na kasama ng agent ko sa Luneta. Nandun po yung immigration para kunin yung bayad.
According to her, she also experienced abuse from the bodyguards of her employer, who was said to be a relative of the president of Syria.
5 months ko dito, nakaranas ako ng pananakit dahil nagpaalam ako na uwi ako, kaya nagalit sila, nasaktan ako. At saka yung mga, itong pangalawa, 2020, nasaktan ulit ako dahil nabasa nila yung mga email ko.
Okay.
Kinuha nila kasi tumatawag ang embassy sa kanila na humihingi ako ng tulong na tinatay sa kanyang pagiliran ko sa pala sa punot kalad-kalad.
Ontiveros called it a modern-day slavery, saying that this must be stopped along with the corruption in the Immigration Bureau. She described the alleged bribery as outbound pastillas, a reference to the controversial pastilla scheme wherein some immigration officers received payments for the fast entry of Chinese nationals in the country.
Tulad ng ginawa namin sa mga naunang naibunyag na mga nasindikato at mga krimen na ginagawa sa loob ng BI, kasabwat ang travel agents at aalamin namin kasabwat ng mga recruiter. Nang babalik kami kay Commissioner Morentes, Sir, kailan nyo ba titigilin ito?
In a statement, BI Commissioner Jaime Morente says they support the investigation of the Senate panel. According to Morente, they are committed to protect Filipinos against human trafficking and to eradicate corruption in the Bureau. He adds they will not hesitate to punish any immigration personnel who will be proven to be involved in trafficking schemes. Meanwhile, in a text message to UNTV News, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara says he will coordinate with the senator on the issue, and the anti-trafficking units of the DOJ will also conduct its investigation. Last month, the DFA repatriated 13 victims of human trafficking who ran away from their employers in Syria due to harsh working conditions.
India, the second most populous country in the world, has reported its highest daily COVID-19 case spike since the start of the year. Charisse Longbowen reports why live. Yes, Charisse, good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, William. A record-breaking 26,291 COVID-19 positive cases on Monday alone were recorded in India, considered to be the highest daily spike this year as the country experiences a surge of infections for weeks now. According to the president of the Public Health Foundation of India and government's COVID-19 advisor, Dr. Srinath Reddy, the major reason for the surge of infections is due to people no longer observing public health precautions such as wearing masks. Different establishments such as offices, restaurants, and conference venues have also been reopened in India, causing more people gathering in closed and air-conditioned spaces. Different parts of the country have also imposed lockdowns, such as the state of Maharashtra, which has long been a virus hotspot, and other places have implemented different restrictions to contain the spread of the virus. The resurgence of COVID-19 cases in India comes as the country currently rolls out COVID-19 vaccination, wherein more than 30 million doses have already been administered. As of 8 a.m. Indian Standard Time, the country has a total number of 11,409,831 COVID-19 cases, making it the third leading country with the highest number of cases worldwide, and with a total of 158,856 deaths. The country has also reported 11,027,543 cases who have recovered from the virus. William?
Yes, thank you, Charisse Longbowen, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. The Tanzanian police have arrested 4 men for circulating rumors that missing President John Magufuli is in ill health. Early Briones reports why.
Tanzanian President John Magufuli has been absent from the public eye for more than 2 weeks now. An absence deemed strange, as the president is often seen on public television or attending church. Alleged false rumors have been circulating on social media that he is either missing or that he may be severely ill. Police have since begun arresting 4 people since Friday from different parts of the country for the cybercrime, with more people under investigation and monitoring for breaking the law. Opposition politicians also add to the speculations, saying that Magufuli is in a serious condition after contracting COVID-19 and that he is currently undergoing treatment as a hospital inpatient overseas. All claims have since been denied by several Tanzanian officials already. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa believes that such rumors are the fruit of hate. The president is known for downplaying the severity COVID-19 has brought, even claiming previously that Tanzania has defeated the virus through prayers and will not be posing any risk from then on. He has also consistently refused the use of foreign vaccines and instead insists on using herbal therapy and steam treatments. The World Health Organization has not received any figures about the COVID-19 since April 2020, pushing authorities to demand one from them. Early Briones, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In provinces here in the Philippines, MCGI Free Store branches opened their doors on Sunday with not just grocery items but also live animals and various kinds of produce. While the DSWD was impressed with the concept of this project, globally launched by Members Church of God International. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
For the beneficiaries of the MCGI Free Store, this is one of a kind. Their experience inside the free store, where they could get what they need for free, is extraordinary. In the provinces, there were more than just grocery items and dry goods. In Barangay Lawi Capas, Tarlac, there were cows and chicken meat available. There were live fish too. Plus, live ducks, turkey, and chicken for backyard raising. While in Barangay Mapalad in Tarlac City, the MCGI Free Store beneficiaries patronized milkfish or bangus dagupan quickly. In Bulacan, shrimp, crabs, and milkfish were given for free. While the MCGI Free Store branch in the town of Plaridel, there were different kinds of vegetables available. In Kalumpit, longganisa was the most liked. In Bicol region, distance was not a hindrance to serve our kababayan through the MCGI Free Store. In the upland barangay of Simawa, Uson, Masbate, more than 100 indigent residents were able to shop grocery items and vitamins without spending any single centavo.
Wala ko yara parang first time po ini na nangyari na nakaabot po din na lugar na ina na first store na ano. Kaya dako gani po na salamat sa inyo na natagaan po si kapares na ako, nakaambit man po ako, kaya salamat sa dako kayo, nagpasalamat.
Malaking tulong po ito sa mga indigent families po dito kasi yung mga nakuha po nilang items, kahit papaano po makasustento po ito sa ila sa kanilang pang-araw-araw po.
In Rizal, several beneficiaries said it was their first time to experience going grocery shopping.
Maraming salamat sa inyo. Kung hindi kayo, wala akong ganyan. Hindi ako nakakabili ng ganyan, nining ko. Ngayon lang ako nakaranas ng ganito. Sa buong buhay ko, 75 ko. Ngayon lang ako nakaranas ng ganitong may rasyo na ganito. Libre lahat itong binigay ninyo.
Ngayon lang po merong nagbigay ng mga gantong grocery para sa tas yung hindi ka, ikaw pa yung mismong mamimili ng bibilin mo. Ay yung kukunin mo, hindi yung mismong nakapak na lang.
In the free store launched by Members Church of God International, beneficiaries can get what they need and not what they want with no hidden charges.
Ito ay brainchild ni kapatid na Eli Soriano at ng ating Kuya Daniel Razon na ang concept ay get what you need and not what you want. So ikaw bahala na pipili ng kailangan mo.
While according to the Department of Social Welfare and Development, there is nothing like the MCGI Free Store.
Well, free store wala. Wala ito. Yung normally lang ginagawa ng DSWD and some other organizations, namimigay lang ng family packs. But this time, ito makita natin, ang mga tao dito, they can choose whatever they need. Yung talagang kailangan ng family nila, based on their needs, sila ay magkuha.
The MCGI Free Store is not for one day only, but will continue to serve indigent members of communities and those in need here in the Philippines and abroad. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news, March 16, 2021. I am Hardin Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.